Hi, everybody. We're sitting here marveling at what's happening and unraveling. Uh, I cannot believe the Ravens are losing by a point to the Lions with 26 seconds left. And on a third down play, Lamar Jackson gets sacked by the Lions. Is this like Bizarro World? This is the final timeout here at this point, and the Ravens now have a 4th and 19 with the ball on their own 16-yard line. They got the ball with
Shit.
about a minute 52 or something like that left, and they haven't been able to even. They've moved backwards in a 2-minute drive against the Lions. I mean,
I would
Dan
call a
fucking
jailbreak
Campbell.
fucking blitz.
Yeah.
Just send all 11 people right at Lamar Jackson. I
Ah,
don't
my.
care. Just win the fucking
Oh
game
no!
right
They
there.
got it. They got it.
What?
Lamar Jackson,
Deep left to
36
Sammy Watkins for
yard
36
completion.
yards.
36-yard completion. They're in field goal range. The Lions will find a way to lose, folks.
Oh
The
my
ball
God.
is at the Detroit 48, and I'm just following this. I'm sorry, folks. I usually don't do this, but I'm following this on
The Ravens
Gamecast.
The Ravens are snatching victory from the jaws of defeat because Hollywood Brown dropped 3 touchdown passes today.
Seriously.
3 of them.
All right, so there's 7 seconds left. Am I reading this right? If somebody could
7
be
seconds
watching this
left.
for me, is that what's
First and
happening?
10 on the Detroit 48-yard line. Yes.
If you want, are you watching it, Tony?
I am. Yes.
Oh, you do the play-by-play on the play with 7 seconds left. Okay.
Hold on a sec.
I want to hear the calf do the play-by-play. I want the Ravens to lose. I want my ideas to become efficient ideas and my comments about Lamar Jackson to be valid. And there's Roxanne jumping into the program after a Browns win. Ow. All right.
Ooh, 2nd and 10.
All right, and this is it. 7 seconds left. This is it, correct?
Yep, 7 seconds left.
All right, don't fake me out, dude.
I'm not.
Don't
No,
do that.
I'm doing.
Don't do that
I'm
to me.
Doing the legit play-by-play here.
All right, here we go. Tony the Calf on the play-by-play.
All right.
Couldn't
Lamar
do worse.
takes the snap. He's looking. Quick pass to, throws it out of bounds. Oh, shit. 3 seconds left. Justin Tucker from the 48-yard line.
So they're going to try, in essence, a 7 yards back, a 65-yard field goal.
Yep, 49. He's made a 66-yard field goal.
And if this is the Lions, there's a really good chance this is indoors, is it not?
Yes, and it's in Ford Field. Tucker's made 49 straight field goals. 66 yards.
Oh my God! You're going to call this, aren't you? You're going to call the play.
Ravens just fucking won.
Ravens win.
I don't believe
Delete
it.
field goal.
It hit the fucking crossbar, bounced up and over the crossbar.
He pulled a Phil Dawson.
Yes. Unbe-fucking-leavable.
The Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. That turns their whole season around. Can you believe that?
66 yards.
Fucking hell.
How do you allow that if you're the Lions? Does it get any more painful?
So we're back to the Chiefs and
Oh my
Chargers now.
God.
5 seconds left there.
Like I said, I would have on that 4th and 19. I would have had the jailbreak blitz, send all 11
Mahomes,
guys.
Get him.
Okay,
Chargers
we better
won.
talk about the Browns, or else people are going to turn the show off.
Yay,
Right?
Chargers
So
just
this
won.
is a Browns postgame
Yeah.
show. Hi, I'm Mr. Moohead, and I hope everybody is happy with what happened with the Cleveland Browns today. It wasn't real pretty, but I wanted to start out the program besides bemoaning the fact that the Lions, who had the game won, the Ravens could have been 1-2. It would have been a crushing blow. And instead, this is what we end up with: is them. You got to turn around and beat them anyway. I mean, what it comes
Lucking
down to
their way
is
into
you
another victory.
You gotta beat the best to be the best, and I think that's the way it plays out. I want to ask a couple of questions, and usually, I focus on the Browns. They did Justin Fields a real disservice. They really
Oh, yeah.
did.
Yeah, that offensive line couldn't stop fucking Wapakoneta High School from
Wow,
sacking.
Wapakoneta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
lived there
mean,
for about 6 months.
I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, you know, Matt Nagy's going to get terminated. There's no question about that.
It's got to
He
be
was telling
soon.
the truth. I mean, Andy Dalton gives them a better chance to win, which is
Wow.
slim as opposed to none. But this was not a professional effort. And this can do no good to Justin Fields' attitude. You saw him on the sideline.
Yeah.
You get beaten up and you got nothing to throw to. You're not prepared. And why would they go for that final fourth down? So we could get crushed one more time?
Yeah, you know who he looked like? He looked like Seneca Wallace on those horrible Browns teams that had no chance of winning, and he got sacked like about 8-9 times a game.
And
Yeah.
D-Cup, this is the fucking defense we've been waiting for him to fucking call. An attacking defense.
Well, anyone could have attacked this. The poor young
Oh,
man
yeah.
was
Yeah.
ill-prepared.
Correct.
Ill-prepared, and the front line wasn't there. I mean, are you going to really be serious about putting Jason Peters in
Jason
front of
Peters
Myles
looks like
Garrett?
he should be in the glue factory more than Ben Roethlisberger does.
My
Wow.
God! I mean, he was like it was like at the line of scrimmage. Okay, I'm ready now. I mean, Myles Garrett was just running around him. He wasn't even putting a move on him. He was just flat out running around him. I mean, what is that? What is that? I mean, but you can't win the game. Why would you drop him back deep to pass to take one more sack? So he'll injure him and cripple him? Do you want to mentally cripple him? What's the point?
No.
And that angers me. Here's another thing that angers me. They got him back into the game briefly with such a ridiculous call against Johnson III. I mean,
Correct.
that is absolutely, there was
You can't
more.
put your hands in the back of the receiver. It's gonna get called every motherfucking time, unless it's a Browns receiver, and then you can fucking stab him in the nuts, hit him with a sledgehammer, drill him however the fuck you want.
I totally disagree with that. There was more contact on the Ronnie Harrison breakup, where his hands were on the back of the receiver and he reached around and knocked the ball down. And also on Newsom's breakup on the sidelines, where he had his hands on his back. I mean, that isn't it. That referee just went rogue, threw a flag. Somebody in his headset told him to throw a flag.
I think so.
Dead serious. And I'll tell you another thing. That guy on the chain gang got hurt at the end of the game because David Njoku was thrown to the ground. It should have been a personal foul, 3 yards out of bounds. And the guy who made that foul ended up rolling into the chain gang guy and injuring him.
Oh, there were cheap shots by the Bears. When I go back and rewatch this game, I'll point them all out for you.
I mean, I'm just totally, I don't know what the definition of anything is anymore, but a ball that's thrown 5 yards over the head of a wide receiver that Johnson intercepts on the 2-yard line, and basically he has both his hands, and there isn't even a push-out motion. You're going to call that pass interference.
Wow.
I mean, and then elbowing Baker Mayfield in the head and throwing a flag and then picking it up saying, no foul. And in slow motion, you see him chicken wing him to the head. They're supposed to be protecting quarterbacks.
Are you sure he didn't get the notes from the guy from the Tampa Bay game that picked up the flag and on the hot mic said, "Oh well, he was a runner. He's allowed to be hit in the head."
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's just it's abysmal, and I think they should be investigated. I don't trust any of the outcomes of this stuff. And when people can get hurt, when you use that padded elbow to hit a guy in the helmet, I mean, that right there that's a forearm shiver. And you can knock a man out. And that's what he was trying to do on the play and got away with it. Just like the guy was trying to rip Njoku out of bounds, and God only knows what he was doing. But somebody got hurt. It wasn't a football player, but it was an official who got hurt. You know, it's, unfathomable.
Good for McLaughlin. He broke a record from 1972, the year I was born.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain. You'll know
Well, you know.
that our other kicker, would certainly not have made any of those field goals, and
God.
he had
No, we
plenty
watched
of.
Greg Joseph miss. You can watch any of the highlights and see our former kickers miss field goals all over the league.
I mean, it's just when they went for, the first time we went for the first two times we went for fourth down, and it was just like a clown show.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we're going to try
How
a
do you not
57-yard
block
field
Khalil
goal.
Mack?
What? Okay, I'm going to mute my mic. You go, Brian. It's your show.
How can you not block Khalil Mack? He Oh my God, that fucking play almost gave me an aneurysm. Did he out? He actually walked away.
Oh, he got
Dog's
pissed.
watching him
yeah.
walk away. Great.
He got pissed.
So Tony, how about them Vikings?
Oh, fuck off.
How about them Gophers?
Fuck off.
I don't like to be shouted over just because your mic is louder. I don't like that. And I'm just being honest. If you want to say something, hey. If you don't want to come on camera and raise your hand like Broncos, just says, hey, I got something to say, and I'll shut up. I swear to God, I will.
Wow.
Sorry, folks. Rules is rules. Or I could go like this. All right. Compose myself.
Hey, we won today. It's all good, man. It's all good. We won.
The game itself, I thought, was really, you can't get the ball in the end zone. One thing I can say is that the Browns' running game got better as the game progressed, and without Kareem Hunt, we'd have been in real trouble. Trouble.
I think they game planned against Chubb. They had
Yeah.
Mac or somebody keying on the whole game. Or I think the Chubb was the guy that they were purposely trying to game plan against.
Their offensive line is built more towards Chubb's running style. They got some big boys on that offensive line that are athletic too. That can
and Chubb, he only got about 3.6, 3.7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't like he busted anything. But you look at Kareem Hunt, and man, that 27-yard sweep, he was just north-southing him and running over him, and leaping into him, and just diving into him. He looked good. And that is the balance the team is looking for. Baker Mayfield did not have his best game here.
Well, I think if we're going to be critical of anything, let's be critical of the play calling early in the game, because Stefanski didn't have a good first half of the game, really. I mean, going forward on those fourth downs, I think everybody agrees that was not the thing to do. And the pass plays that were called, and the plays that they didn't line up properly for, that they hadn't worked out, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, what I saw was Demetric Felton wide open, overthrown by 4 or 5 yards. I saw Harrison Bryant wide open, overthrown by 4 or 5 yards. Yeah. I saw, he just wasn't his usual sharp self.
Oh my God.
Zoned in on OBJ a little too much too.
I agree with that too. What's up,
The Dolphins just got pick 6 against the Las Vegas Raiders.
I wonder if the Raiders are going to come to earth like you said.
Wow.
They're going to need it because they don't have a quarterback today.
Maybe else Newsom left with a calf injury too.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Didn't return.
Yeah, they had Greedy Williams out there for the last.
I did notice the Greedy, the mighty clean uniform out there, but I thought it was because the game was over. I thought Newsom played a really fine game. I thought Karamoa was really, really good. Really good. So, again, I think they did throw the ball to OBJ, force feed him way too much. And I think he was looking for him constantly deep, and that contributes to sacks. You gotta check down, and especially against a team committing so much coming forward. I mean, when Khalil Mack was in the game, and when whoever their second linebacker is, the guy who's really good against the
Roquan
run.
Smith. He's
Quan Smith.
Yeah, right.
deadly.
Yeah.
I want to
And-
draft him.
Those
Robert
guys,
Quinn too. That guy's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
but they're coming up to the line of scrimmage. What you got to do is you got to get the ball, and every screenplay we ran was successful. It was absolutely successful, and because they were pushing up the field, and that just left no second line of defense except the secondary to try to tackle guys like Kareem Hunt in the open field, and he's going to carry those guys 3 or 4 yards every time they hit him. So I was kind of surprised we were looking downfield as much as we were. And looking at one guy, I thought Donovan Peoples-Jones might have a big game. He had those 2 nice early catches, then wasn't targeted again for the rest of the game, and I'm not sure why that is.
Higgins caught 1 ball. Schwartz, I mean, had 1
Schwartz
pass.
was invisible. There was nothing there. So, and the tight end, with the exception of Austin Hooper, who caught the touchdown pass, there was no Njoku.
No Njoku.
No Harrison Bryant, even though he's wide open on the one play. There was nothing thrown to the tight ends. It didn't look like our offense. And as far as Myles Garrett, 4.5 sacks. I mean, that, and he missed on the 5.5 number and Clowney got the sack because he wriggled free from Garrett, and he ends up getting sacked by Clowney and walking right into it. I just want to say that I'm not going to say anything about Justin Fields as a player, and this is not good news because a calf injury is weeks.
Yeah.
Is weeks.
Yeah. That's worse than a cow injury.
And we can't afford, because we're going into Minnesota next, and don't laugh. Don't laugh. They can put up offense. Their defense hasn't proven to be so good. But
and Dalvin Cook is hurt, so that's a big thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Not playing today. Who knows if he plays next week? But Justin Fields, I think he'll be okay if he gets a real offense and a real coach. They're doing a horrible disservice to that defense and Justin Fields because they've got some talent on that team, and it's just an offensive game plan that should have put up more than 1 net passing yard against the fucking Browns.
He's not. Justin Fields is not Lamar Jackson. All right.
No.
He may be fast. All right, but he isn't stop on a dime, accelerate immediately like a fast sports car. He's fast line, straight line fast. Yeah, Bron.
Yeah, he's not even Braxton Miller. I mean, Braxton Miller had more escapability. Justin Fields didn't have escapability. You know.
Yeah, and I agree with Brian Hibbs here. It almost looked like we were trying to force things that weren't there, and that's not a good thing. I don't think.
I almost wonder if that's Baker needing some sort of reliable wide receiver like he does with Landry, and with Landry out, he's trying to make OBJ that, hey, I can go to him if I need him in a pinch.
I got to be honest with you. Everyone's going to bring up the OBJ thing. Every time he's on the field, the offense becomes one-dimensional. We're looking at him too much.
Yeah, how many catches did he have?
Well, he had 5?
5 or 6, yeah, at least.
Yeah, but that's for the number of times he was targeted and the circumstances. Somebody had to be more open than he did. I mean, it just, I don't know. All those rollouts we were doing usually have guys cutting across the middle of the field, and they weren't there. And I'm not sure what was going on with the execution, but on the 4th down plays early in the game, the execution was absolutely a snap count error and a missed. I don't know what it was like. Both sides of the offensive line on the second 4th down call were running different plays. I don't know what was going on there. Perhaps Stefanski will address that in the press conference. But
OBJ had 9 targets and 5 receptions.
All right. Yeah, I mean, and Higgins did make a catch here and there, but I mean, uh, it was my belief going into this game that the way that we were going to beat the Bears was to get downfield, and early on, it looked like that was going to be the case with Felton being wide open. I never felt at any
Jake.
point in the game that Baker was really in a groove. Like he gets that
I don't know.
tunnel visioned kind of thing where he just zones in and he's just accurate as hell. Um, that's not there today. And a lot of balls that were just floating on him and going out of bounds, way over the heads of receivers or way overthrown. It was like his touch just wasn't there.
You think the shoulder had anything to do with it?
It would be hard for me to believe unless that has changed his footwork and his mechanics, because usually with Baker, when he's throwing the ball high, he's throwing off his back foot. And, I would have to see tape rolled on that. I sound like one of the coaches, but I would have to go back to the film on it and see on those throws whether his weight was planted backwards. But maybe there wasn't the follow through. I don't know.
Was he wearing like some sort of semi-sling kind of thing, or was he just normal pads?
I'm sorry?
Was he wearing like in the NBA, those, if they've got a bad shoulder, they'll wear that shoulder sleeve on the bad shoulder. Do you think Baker was wearing one of those today? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. It didn't look like it. But I mean, and I was looking at when he got sacked, it wasn't like he was grabbing his left shoulder. It wasn't anything like that. It was, and they were rolling him out both ways. It just, the accuracy wasn't there. He zipped a few balls in, but a lot of balls just didn't look like they were timed well with the receivers. And we were just a beat off the whole game. You say Miles got revenge on me. He didn't do anything last week. He got 4.5 sacks this week. That averages to 2.25 sacks. And look, I'd rather he get 2 sacks every game as opposed to zeros, goose eggs, and then having a big game against a team like this. I mean, Jason Peters, I believe, if I'm correct, is like 35 years old. And
no, I think he's older than that. They said he was like in his 17th or 18th year. Something like that.
He was available.
Jason Peters is 39.
Yeah, he's like old, and he was available as a free agent, and they just picked him up. But, I mean, that was tough.
Now you know why the Chiefs cut him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who literally looked like a pillar of salt, and I mean, I know that Miles is quick off the line, but geez, this guy didn't belong on a professional football field, and you're in there to protect the quarterback's blind side. Little TYG, I don't know the answer on what play that happened. I do not know. But again, as long as the cameras don't catch these guys limping off the field or whatever the case is, we'll never know. And I was not even aware. And I appreciate the guys here on the panel filling me in on that, because you just can't see everything.
OBJ just said in his presser that he separated his shoulder on the first play.
That who did?
OBJ. And that they popped it back in and he went back out and played.
Are you kidding?
Ew.
I mean, and that's just another injury waiting to happen. We got to get these wide receivers involved because we're going to be needing these guys. It's not at all an easy situation. And I know a win, we keep saying we got to keep winning. We got to keep winning. I feel crushed that the Ravens won that game. That took a lot of joy out of my heart. I thought for sure. But then it was the Lions. Nothing ever goes good. Yeah, and a calf strain. I mean, if it's enough to take him out of a game, it's enough to be 3 weeks. And
Stefanski says he'll have an MRI tomorrow morning. So
yeah, I mean, it's you're looking at anybody who's ever pulled a calf muscle. You can't stretch it until it is pain-free. You can't even start to stretch it, and it takes a couple of weeks for the muscle to remodel itself. So that's going to be a bad thing, because Greedy Williams is not Greg Newsome. That's for sure. We didn't see much of Denzel Ward. There was that one completion, but honestly, the quarterback didn't have enough time for the receivers to get downfield. I mean,
Yeah.
that one sack where Myles Garrett ran across the field and sacked him because he got a running start on Jason Peters at the line of scrimmage. If you finally, the camera had the angle, and it's like he had to run with that ball because there was man coverage on the two receivers and there was nobody for him to throw to. I was looking this whole game. Every time he threw to somebody, there was somebody right all over that guy. There was never a play where a guy was wide open or even relatively open. Yes.
Yeah, it's nice to see that happen to the opposition.
Yeah.
For a change. Yeah. You know, somebody's asking in the chat room, maybe one of you has a clue, why Nick Foles wasn't playing.
They must felt that Fields gave him the best chance. I don't know. I mean, better. Why not? If he's going to be the quarterback eventually, why not trial by fire? I guess.
Oh, hey, what's up, Bronk?
Breaking news: DK Metcalf just got the first touchdown for the Seahawks against the Vikings.
Oh,
Yay! That's good news for me.
Yeah. Oh,
I have both
fantasy
players.
news, huh? All right.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Foles, how you could not put him in the game when the game was competitive after seeing that. I mean, it wasn't just that the blocking wasn't there. It was that Justin Fields, his eyes were just darting around looking for the next guy who was going to hit him. He was like a pinball.
He was in Deshaun Kaiser mode.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason to keep him in that game, and
They say he had 68 yards, but I mean, most of it was screen passes and that one 14-yard catch to Robinson.
Yeah, and he overthrew a bunch of passes that weren't even close.
Maybe
to
they
people.
added in the penalty yardage.
Yeah.
I mean, bad. I don't get it. I'm you know, and if you believe that Andy Dalton give you a better chance to win, you have to believe that that Foles gives you a better chance to win than a guy who's never played the game before. And there's this pressure. You see what happens with dysfunctional organizations, as we well know from our past, is that the front office says, we drafted this guy and we want him to play. And the head coach says, but he's not ready to play. And they said, you want to work here or don't you? So he has to suck it up and put the kid out in the field. The kid gets murdered out there, and then the coach has to stand in front. Nobody in the front office stands in front of the press at a press conference explaining what the wisdom was of the whole thing. But the whole thing, you know, and, you know, bitter truth is saying, well, that was not a penalty on John Johnson III. I'm sorry. It isn't when you hear his name, it's something bad. It's that was a bad call, plain and simple. And there were a couple of them out there. You know, when that game turned to 13-6, you don't know. Baker Mayfield gets strip sacked, and they could get the ball in and tie the game up. This is not an impossible thing. So that's a big call, a real big call. So, you know, I'm looking at scores around the league, folks, and
Cards won big.
Say who?
Cards won big.
I wouldn't say big. They only won by 12.
Well, I saw
they were losing.
Yeah, but remember,
Trevor,
this is like a 5-6 win team. Come on, man.
But Trevor Lawrence, what was he doing on the pick six? The guy ran down the sidelines for a touchdown. I mean, how do you throw a ball like a dirigible up into traffic like that?
Old Uncle Herbs is going to be flying to USC here in a couple weeks. I mean, there's no fucking way he sticks around for this shit.
I'm just, you know.
Well, he's already said he doesn't want the USC job.
So. Going in the background.
Yeah. So, you know, besides Baltimore,
it's probably me. I've got a bunch of people here.
So that's all right. The Chiefs, man, losing to the Chargers at home.
Yep.
I mean, and that's all of this is good news. New England losing is always good. I hate Bill Belichick, and from what I understand, Mac Jones threw a pick six.
Yep.
The Giants still lose. Joe Judge.
17-14 against fucking Matt Ryan, who shouldn't be playing in the CFL.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh. I mean, look at the box score on Pittsburgh. I mean, they Mixon got 90 yards on the ground, so they didn't stop the run game. A 5-yard average for Joe Mixon, right? Najee Harris averaged 2.9 yards per game, and Ben Roethlisberger had to throw 58 times, and of course, he threw 2 interceptions. And one thing that is for sure, and for those people who believe that Mike Tomlin is this or that or whatever, there ain't no offense. And if Ben Roethlisberger has to throw that many times, even young Ben, and they don't win. And without a running game, they're toast. And look at the receiving. This is what's amazing about this. 38 out of 58, right? But 14 of them were thrown to Najee Harris. 14 to the running back.
Well, but
Then
that's what I was saying with the pec injury. He can't. There's no way that he's going to be able to drive the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this. Chase Claypool had 9 receptions for 96 yards. That looks normal enough. Okay.
Yeah.
But after that, man, Ray McLeod only had 3. Juju Smith-Schuster in his big mouth got nothing, man.
He got knocked out of the game too.
Did he really? 8.3 yards a catch, only 3 catches for 25 yards. I mean, not a real pretty thing. The Steelers just couldn't get it going. And Jamar Chase had 4 receptions for 65 yards and 16.3. He is a legitimate big play guy.
2 touchdowns too. Yeah.
Yeah, but you look at Joe Burrow, only 14 of 18 for the game for 172 yards, but at 122 rating, he threw an interception. But you're playing against a Pittsburgh team that's frantic. Would be the only way that I would put it. So again, Tennessee beating Indianapolis, and the Colts are just dead in the water at this point. So, it's interesting how this is shaping up. And, I'm thrilled that we're 2-1. I'm pissed that the Ravens are 2-1. But again, I hope that if nothing else, and again, we're getting a lot of views on the Monday show and the Friday show. And some of you did not like my analysis that there was no clear-cut number 1 in the AFC, and sure enough, the Chiefs lose, and the Ravens come 1 fluke 66-yard field goal away from losing to the Lions. You can't tell me that anybody is really head and shoulders above anybody else. This is wide open.
And I don't think that kick would be good in Baltimore.
Well, outside, I mean, just with elements and just with wind shear.
Yeah, no.
What I can't understand is the play where he completed a 36-yard pass on 4th and 19. How does that happen? I didn't see the film. Did you see the play? Anybody?
No, I'm going to try and look at it quick here.
Yeah, and we mentioned this earlier in the show, Upstate. You're absolutely right. It was that's a flagrant foul, and a referee got injured, or a chain gang guy. Ooh, he's
it was just
chain gang.
It was just casual. Like Lamar had all the time in the world, threw it, and Sammy Watkins, there wasn't a guy within 6 yards of him.
Prevent defense.
Yep.
If you're the Lions, what have you got to lose?
That's why they should have just called a jailbreak blitz and fucking sent all 11 guys
saying,
right
at
him.
saying they rushed 3 people. There you have it.
You drop
They don't
8
wanna
and you
win.
still can't stop them. That's amazing.
Just and D kept saying the same thing. He was just wide open on the play. I mean, that's right after you sack the guy. Then you just go back. I mean, boy, I'll tell
Oh,
you.
Vikings just got a touchdown.
I'm telling you, this is going to be tough next week. The Vikings are scoring touchdown for touchdown against people. Problem is they're giving up the next touchdown.
Yeah.
But teams are watching what the Browns are doing, and this has something to do with when the Texans. It looked like Baker had time, but nothing looked open, and we saw that happen a number of times today. Earlier in the year, everything that we were doing just looked open, and it looked like it was all orderly. And the last 2 weeks, it hasn't looked so smooth, and you got to stay one step ahead. And that's the deal.
All right, I'm gonna have to bail and go have something to eat. So I'll see you guys on Monday.
Okie
Let's see you
dokie.
tomorrow, friend.
Wow.
Well,
Brian has friends.
Sorry.
Brian has friends.
Who does? Oh yeah, yeah. Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? Thank you. That's what
I
was
can hear
looking for.
family, maybe family in the background. I just the way the league's going this year, it's toss up. It's anybody's
Oh,
go.
totally. Tampa Bay's number one, and then
After that, yeah.
no idea.
And I'll say this for the Browns, there my players of the game for the Browns would be offensively Kareem Hunt, who just
Yep.
played. I mean, tons of yardage in the air and on the ground. That's huge. And from a defensive perspective, of course, you're going to say Myles Garrett, and that's good. Clowney got himself 2 sacks, and that's kind of a nice thing.
Owusu Koromoa looked really good.
That's the guy I zeroed in on because he does something that I really like. And he did it twice in this game, and that's when they threw a short ball because that's all they had time to throw. He would make the tackle with his left and swat the ball out of the receiver's hands with a stripping kind of thing. And he did it twice in the game. He also, on the play he got behind the line of scrimmage, it was not a called blitz, but he saw a gap and he plugged it. And, he has instincts, he gets to the ball, and he comes as advertised. He hits people. There was one play on a running play where he just threw a defensive lineman off of him, an offensive lineman off of him, and made the tackle and followed through and made the tackle. Had a great game, and I think that it stood out to me. Nobody else in the secondary really did because there wasn't much for the secondary to do.
Nope.
I think Troy Hill was pretty good.
But against the run, stopping Montgomery, doing what you have to do to stop the running game of the Bears was huge, and we got a lot of inside help in that regard. They just weren't able. I mean, when you only run for your running back gets 34 yards on 10 carries, and you rush for 46 yards the whole game, that's doing a job. The Browns rushed for 215 yards. So, what can I tell you? And it's not that there was a bad player on the field for the Browns at all. Usually there's like the bemoaning after the game. What was that guy doing?
Yeah.
There's none of that. Everybody did their job. Everybody was in position where they were supposed to be. And the thing that I like the most is the few occasions when Justin Fields saw daylight, they really worked hard to get at his legs and trip him up. The one sack that Garrett got, it looked like he might be able to run for a first down, but he clipped him on the bottom of his heels and brought him down. They were fighting at the line of scrimmage and not giving up anything. And you never felt at any point in the game that there was any rhythm established by the Chicago offense. So, And, D Cup points out we got 3 home games in a row, and the last, the Squealers. And the Steelers must be in shock after the Bengals just thrashed their hide.
Walked into Heinz Field.
That's, I mean, with the Steelers losing at home 24-10 to the Bengals, and the Bengals are tied for first. That will just tell you most everything you need to know. Just, and I don't know how much. I didn't check to see if Roethlisberger was sacked. He was sacked 4 times. He just can't. He's not going to be able to stand up to that.
Who? And of course, they've got nothing backing him up. Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph again. It's like,
yeah, well, you pay. You pay when you ignore the quarterback position. I thought that was an incredible statistic they showed on the telecast. One of the few things that was of interest was how many times did quarterbacks start, and it was like, and you looked at the lineup, and it was Jim McMahon, you knew him, but like Jay Cutler, I mean, all the bad quarterbacks they've had there. What's up, Bronk?
Defensive play of the day. The Dolphins were in their own end zone. They threw a sideline pass to Waddle, and Waddle just got creamed by the Raiders 3 yards in the end zone for a safety. Absolutely amazing.
So you're telling me he didn't throw the ball out of the end zone?
No, he didn't throw the ball out. It was like one of those plays.
Who's the quarterback at Miami doing that?
Oh, that was
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, for God's sake. You
Just
throw
threw
the
his
ball out of bounds. You never throw the ball to your receiver in the end
The
zone.
guy, the Brissett was 8 yards deep in the end zone, and Waddle was probably about 4 yards deep. And
Oh,
the
for God's
Raider guy
sake.
came up and just smashed the. It was. Oh, you'll see it. Yeah, it'll be the highlight play of the day.
And
Matt Nagy, Justin Fields hurt his hand on that final.
I saw him warming up at the sidelines. It looked like his thumb. He was working his thumb. What's the story with that?
I was supposed to gonna get an MRI tomorrow once they get back to Chicago. So,
Well, I mean, it could have been worse because the way he was knocked around, it could have been any number of things.
Right.
I think a lot of people in Ohio like Justin Fields, but he was way out of his weight class today.
Yeah, I mean, nice kid, but you don't like to see him get pounded like he did today.
No. And you look at the statistics from the game, and you're looking at the time of possession was just so slanted.
yeah.
I mean, and this was the first game, honest to God, that Myles Garrett wasn't huffing and puffing.
Yeah, it was,
No, I'm serious.
the Bears were towards the end. When they showed the
Oh
photo
yeah,
of the
that
Bears line, they were like going.
yeah, that's why the game blew open is because the defense just got fucking tired.
I mean, the Browns hit the quarterback 15 times.
Fucking
I mean,
like-
you can't. I mean, 9 sacks and and then 6 more hits. I mean,
That's like
baptism by arson.
Yeah, 1/3 of the snaps he got hit.
it's and I'm not happy with the fact that Baker got sacked 5 times.
Yeah, he did.
I don't find any solace and comfort in that. You're looking at the hits again from their perspective. Quarterback hits, 6 on Baker, 5 of them were sacks. So you can't blame the defense on Chicago. They gave up field goals, for God's sakes, for the most part, except for the pass to Hooper. So you really can't get down on them. So, and Denver is beating the Jets. Nothing new there, but the Ravens get to play Denver next week, and that's all. Should be a walk in the park for them. It's going to be a challenging year. It's going to be.
The Bears had 6 total first downs all game.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 of
man.
11 on 3rd down. That's just incredible ineptitude.
And here you have it. The Steelers haven't won at home for 3 games in a row. When was the last time you'd ever heard of such a thing in your life? And again, good statistics here. The pass blocking has not been what we want it to be. The run blocking is great, but you can't take advantage of the 3rd and 4th quarter advantage of that running game if you're behind. That's the problem. And if Baker Mayfield, it's like I keep saying, if Baker has a bad game, it puts the team in a real disadvantage because the real strength of the team is getting up into a lead and then wearing the opposition down. And if he doesn't get the
he did
early
have a
touchdown,
bad first quarter. You know, he had a bad first quarter.
and that's it. I mean, against this team, I mean, you had to think that it was moral victory for the Bears there going into halftime.
Yeah.
It was a moral victory, and you know, but then once the Browns scored the touch, it was over. There was no way they were going to get 2 scores. No way.
Fuck, you thought they would have adjusted or something, and they got the ball. The Bears had the ball coming on at halftime. It's like, well, maybe we can go down and get another 3 and make it a little closer. Fuck no, instant 3-0.
Yeah, and again, the pattern which is interesting in these things is when the Browns win, the audience on the postgame show is vastly diminished. When the Browns lose, then everybody shows up to hear me rant and rave. I'm trying to be a little bit more level-headed about what I'm seeing, and what I saw in this game was that the offense was not sharp. They were not executing as sharply as I've seen them, like in the Kansas City game, where the Browns were moving, their snap counts were out of sync. It just didn't look like it was glued together tightly like it has been in the past. And hopefully that's the same situation that happened to the Ravens. You look past an opponent because they're not very good. Maybe that's what that was all about, but they got to put their heads together because it ain't going to be easy going on the road with that shit. It isn't going to be easy.
Well, how loud does it get in the Vikings Stadium that they got now? Is that a loud place?
Oh, yeah, it gets very loud. They sell that fucker out whether they're 0-16 or 16-0, and it gets loud, man.
I mean, and nothing comes easy now for the Browns because the Vikings is not easy. The Chargers downright difficult in San Diego, and the Cardinals, that's no piece of cake.
Nope.
So then we come back with the Broncos and the Steelers, and we have the Cardinals, the Broncos, and the Steelers right in a row at home. So, looking at the next couple of weeks, if we can beat the Vikings and lose to the Chargers, I mean, you're looking at a likely scenario that you could be 3-2. But then if you win 2 of the 3 home games, you should easily win the Broncos and Steelers, then you'll be 5-3. Is my math correct? I'm doing this on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8 games.
Yeah, and if
you don't beat the Steelers, there's something horribly wrong.
Yeah, if you go 6-2 after 8, then you're really in a good position because you got to go to the Bengals and to the Patriots before you come back home to the Lions. And then you have that funky thing. You got the Lions, but then you have the back-to-back games with the Ravens, which is really gonna be.
I can see
an unusual schedule. Let's put it.
I see 5-3 more realistic. Arizona's really good.
Yeah,
and winning in LA is not going to be the easiest of challenges. So
yeah, I said San Diego. Listen to me. I'm showing my age again. Sorry about that.
You should beat Teddy Bridgewater hands down, and then Pittsburgh is it. If they don't win by more than 2 touchdowns, I'm going to be thoroughly shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at before I get out of here, the stats on the Baltimore game, and he spread the ball around to Andrews, Watkins, and Marquise Brown, but honestly, it wasn't 16 of 31. This is again Lamar Jackson not completing high percentage of passes, 287 yards. That's 9.3, which is better than he has in the first couple of weeks. But he still threw a pick and had an 81 rating. And it really should not have been good enough to win. And I want to see this. Unbelievable. Hollywood Brown dropping the ball.
3 times for
3 times
touchdowns.
For that shit.
3 touchdowns.
I still, before I go, I want to watch the game-winning field goal. How do I get that? Is there a link?
NFL,
NFL.com probably has it.
hold on a
Okay,
second. I'll grab it for you.
I'm going to see if I can find it too.
Well,
I
Well,
mean,
might be able to
that's
share
just
the screen.
gotta be the thing, man. Here we go. This should be.
Yeah, right on Twitter.
You're right on the front. Yeah. So. Yeah, 66-yard field goal. I remember when Phil Dawson did the
Crazy.
same thing. Oddly enough, that was against the Ravens, was it not? That sent the game into overtime.
Yeah, I've got the. I'm gonna private
Here it
message.
is. I got it here.
Oh.
So it's dead spot on and doink.
Doink over.
That is just
Crazy.
unbelievable. And that's the kind. And look at the coach for and look at Harbaugh acting badass. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck you.
You know what? The Ravens could be the new Steelers, where they get all the fucking lucky breaks and the Steelers don't.
Yeah, you got to beat them. You got to beat these guys. And I'm looking at it from a different angle. I want to see it from this angle. This is insane. Doink, straight up. And unbelievable.
What is the record now, anyway?
I don't know. They keep kicking them further and further, though, don't they?
That was 66. NFL field.
All right. Well, I'm done with everything that I wanted to.
Oh,
to
no,
say.
66 was the record today.
It was the
How
record.
about that? I mean, what,
Yeah, the
what
longest
what a
previous
time
was-
for it. What a
was-
time for it.
With Prater in 2013 at a 64-yarder.
Yeah, well, they got a reason to celebrate in Baltimore. Good for them.
Yeah.
The Browns got to suck it up and come back and play a great game next week.
Yeah.
You really you want to be 3-1 and keep up. Got to keep up with the Bengals and keep up with the Ravens. That's what it's about.
Winning
And,
on the road ain't easy.
Yeah, it never is in the NFL. Everybody, thanks a lot for tuning into the post-game show. We're going to be back again tomorrow talking about this game and other things as well around the league. We'll see what the situation is with any other injuries coming out of Cleveland. You know how this goes. People go to bed and they wake up with injuries the next day. So,
oh, God, that's my
thanks-
life.
yeah, thanks, Tony. Thanks, Bronk. Thanks to Brian and his family. And everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in. And I'll see you again tomorrow on Moohead Radio, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, tomorrow. Hasta la vista, Pastorheads.
Boo.
Good night.
Nah.
Hi, guys.